Hey Nick,
Hey, Wyatt.
I got something for you.
What is that, sir?
So I don't know if you knew this about me. I know we've been friends for a little while, but probably maybe a year, 2 years now.
Couple years, yeah.
So I don't know if you knew this about before we were friends, but I used to be really addicted to the hokey pokey, but I've recently turned myself around.
Uh-huh!
We don't have it yet. Yeah, maybe we don't have it yet.
We don't have it yet. I am Nick. That is Wyatt. We are your hosts. Again, the show is We Don't Have It Yet. Welcome back. This is our official episode number 2. Is that correct? How are you, Sir Wyatt?
That is correct, and I'm doing great, Nick. How are you doing?
Oh, hanging in there, man. Let's look behind the curtain. We're recording at post-dinner time on a Tuesday evening.
Yeah, that may not have been the greatest decision on my part, as I have eaten way too much and I'm ready for a nap.
Oh, what'd you have for dinner?
I had a Big Mac pizza and a large chicken bacon ranch sub, in which I only planned on eating half and decided to down the whole thing.
All right. Are we talking, foot long? Yeah. Kind of
Yeah, it was.
situation here, or
Yeah,
12
it
incher,
was. It
12,
was a.
16? Yeah.
It was a solid. It was a solid 12 inches, I'd say.
Yeah. And how many slices we talking about? And what kind? Oh, the Big Mac pizza too. So
Yeah, so the Big Mac pizza was a Thousand Island dressing sauce,
love,
uh, American provolone and mozzarella cheese,
love.
tomatoes, pickles, hamburger, onion, and I believe lettuce was on it too, which is a little weird. I actually enjoy it fresh, but I'm not sure it's gonna make it on the pizza when I reheat it.
Oh yeah, that never works out when you get like the taco pizza with the shredded lettuce on
Yeah,
top, and then you go to reheat the slice. That's not going to work out. Sour cream, not so much either. But
yeah, it's not great, but I ate way too much. I enjoyed myself, and I'm gonna pay for it over this next hour.
yeah. So if you hear Wyatt suddenly have to ah, excuse me, pause for a moment, you know what it's from. Oh man, I actually had a similar pizza experience this week. I think
Oh
so. If
yeah?
we're going into Big Mac pizza, yeah. So I was on vacation this week, as you know, and we can go into that more. But I ordered from one place a bacon cheeseburger pizza,
Okay.
which was so regular kind of pizza, beef, bacon. I think it also added American cheese, red onion, and then it was said to have been topped with your shredded lettuce and even mayo, which I found fascinating and has to be so off-putting to a lot of people. But I was like, hey, they said cheeseburger, and I usually have mayo on my cheeseburger, so I'm all right with this. And then we got it, and they forgot the lettuce and the mayo, so did not receive the full experience. As with your Big Mac pizza, I would imagine without the Thousand Island, it just wouldn't be the same quite, right?
No, the Thousand Island is definitely what makes that pizza.
Yeah, so this was like pretty much a bacon and beef pizza. So still delicious, but not necessarily the full cheeseburger tip that I was looking for. But say la vie.
So
Till
that
next time.
pizza, I've had a bacon cheeseburger pizza around here before, and I believe the one I've had is fairly similar, except instead of mayo, it actually has ketchup and mustard. So did this one not have ketchup or mustard on it?
It certainly didn't list them, and it didn't come with that on it.
All right.
Yeah, I mean those would certainly be traditional burger toppings as well. If I bit into that on a slice of cheeseburger pizza, I would not be disgusted or anything. I wonder if there's a way they could work like ketchup taste into the marinara sauce more.
They probably could even make it a ketchup-based sauce.
Or a
So
ketchup.
it was a marinara sauce that was on it.
Yes, it was just normal pizza sauce on there.
Yeah, they could have. They could even. I know, as probably in the future, listeners of the podcast will learn, I have a penchant for making my own pizza and trying to have fun with that. And I believe last year I made myself a Cuban pizza, which
Oh,
was
that looks so good.
yes, I named it the Cuban Pickle Crisis, which was, I believe, roast pork, ham, pickles, Swiss cheese, and then the sauce, I actually made it with mustard and pickle brine.
Hell yeah.
It was surprisingly good. I wasn't sure how the sauce was going to work, but it was just enough pickle brine to give you the pickle flavor, but not enough to make it
Without
super
being
thin.
crazy, yeah, overpowering kind of thing.
Yeah.
I get what's the I want one of those. You had the like the outdoor gas propane pizza
Yes.
oven thingy. What is
Um,
it? I can never
it
remember the name.
It's an well, you're probably never going to know the name of it because I don't know the name of it. It's one of the
Okay.
Chinese knockoffs. You could probably get one right on AliExpress.
Oh, sweet. So
Um,
right in my wheelhouse then. So what
yes,
is it the cheaper approximation of then? Let me ask.
I believe it's actually based off the Uni oven. I think
Uni. Okay.
Uni, yes,
Yeah, I was wanting to say Uli for some reason, but yeah, I was close.
and I think Uni, and maybe they don't, but I think Uni has a dual fuel one, which is what this one is. So I can either run
Hmm.
it off a propane tank or I can run it off of wood pellets. I
Oh,
haven't
even
done
better.
the yeah, I haven't done the wood pellets yet because I wanted to really get the propane down, which I think after about almost 2 years at this point of running it, I have propane down. So I think maybe before winter hits, I might try and do a couple of wood pellet bakes because the propane gets up to about. I think I get the oven up to about 600, 650, which is great.
That's damn good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good temp, but with the wood pellets you can get it up to about 850, 900, which 900 is about what you really want for a wood-fired pizza.
So is it like a deck oven? In so much as it heats the base of the oven to cook that crust, and there's a flame on the top side as well?
No, so this one actually, the only flame is on the back of the oven. So there's a pizza
Okay.
stone, and then
Oh yeah,
it's just
sure.
obviously a metal enclosure. So you basically heat the pizza stone up for about 30 minutes or so to try and get, the crust done, and then it's
Yeah.
just the radiant flame that goes around the outside. So you're basically, I want to create something that a turntable that I could basically just spin the pizza because I have to pretty much every 30 seconds you're wanting to turn the pizza so you don't,
Hmm.
burn it too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but that's my goal at some point. All the copious amounts of free time that I have, I might create some type of turntable that I can just kind of spin it. Ideally, I'd get one that I could find a way to power it somehow, so it literally is just spinning.
Well, I
But
think you need to get one of those, even though it doesn't really work like with your oven, you should get one of those really long handled peels. So you can just stay it away from like really far away and work out that perfect pizza, flip like the guys in New Haven working on the coal and the wood fired ovens. They got the, 20-foot long handle and they got that perfect move to just spin the pizza
yeah, a
a quarter
nice
a
little
quarter
flip.
turn kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got I think mine's a 2 foot peel, so I got to work my way out to the 1 yard long
I mean,
peel
you
or
get
the
the friends and neighbors over for pizza night, and you bring out a 10-foot pizza peel. You're going to look like you know what you're doing. I think that's what people would take away from that more than anything, versus looking completely ridiculous.
Uh, so you said you guys were on vacation this past week. I know
Yeah.
you talked to me a little bit. So where did you guys go? What did you guys do?
So, as more recent inhabitants of Chicagoland in the Midwest, everybody's always like, "What are you guys doing this summer? You getting away? You going anywhere?" We're like, "We just got here, and there's a lot to do here in Chicago, so we're just kind of checking stuff out." But my son really wanted to kind of do something, and my wife and I had said, "Let's try and get out of town for a couple days." So we figured let's road trip it. Do the family vacation, family truckster type Chevy Chase deal, and see what the open road has. And we literally had almost no plans other than kind of a loose travel itinerary and booked a couple hotels. So we drove down from Chicago into Indiana through Gary and then up into the west coast of Michigan. Kind of worked our way up the coast a little bit, then took a ferry over from Michigan across Lake Michigan to Sheboygan in Wisconsin, and then worked our way back down to Chicago. So tiny little loop or version of what they call, I guess, the Lake Michigan loop. There are a bunch of different ways you can do the trip, obviously. But yeah, just experience a little more of Midwest and see a bunch of places that I've never seen, and it was cool, man. A lot of good food along the way. I gained probably 5 pounds in about 72 hours or 4 days, whatever it was, and yeah, I could certainly talk about plenty of good foodstuffs that we had along the way, and little cool towns. Ferry is awesome. It's an old steamship. It's coal fired. So they could probably cook some pretty bitchin' pizzas at
was gonna say, were they cooking
in the
pizzas
belly
on
of that
that?
guy. Yeah, I don't know if they do, but they got the oven. But
Be
yeah, it
honest
was
now.
cool. It was cool.
How much cheese did you have?
Oh yeah, a lot of freaking cheese. Well, we hit the cheese castle on the way home yesterday, as one does. The Mars Cheese Castle, for anyone that's not familiar, is a Kenosha landmark in Wisconsin, and it's literally a gigantic castle that sells every type of cheese you could pretty much want, and cheese-related product, along with a robust selection of knickknacks and novelty goods. And, they got the wall of hot sauce like you expect to see and stuff like that. But I actually picked up some great stuff like root beer bratwursts that I'm really
Have you made
excited
that
to
yet?
try. No, no, they're in the
Ah,
freezer. But yeah,
I swear,
I
you
was
sent me that picture, and I
I was going
was
through
like,
their
oh,
frozen section. Yeah, I was like, well, these are coming home with me. Yeah, local root beer too. So it's Kenosha's finest root beer. That place is a trip though, man. Yes, they have like I think a pretty loyal like daytime bar crowd in there because we're in there on a Monday afternoon, and there were plenty of folks in there, and they have all the great dairy, ice cream stuff from Wisconsin, obviously. And we didn't eat this time, but I had my killer liverwurst sandwich on rye there last time I was there. So yeah, if you ever have the chance to go to Kenosha and are looking for something to do, seek out the Cheese Castle.
no, I've never been out to Wisconsin, so I'm probably gonna have to, add that one to my list.
So I've been up to Milwaukee a couple times, for was it uh, Midwest Gaming Convention? Is that what it is?
You sold there one year, right?
Yeah, I did. I sold
Yep,
my whole
Nick
collection
Snacks.
there. Nick's Neat Knacks.
Nick's Neat Knacks.
Yeah, and yeah, I sold the collection there in one go. Ripped that Band-Aid right off, and everything that was left at the end of the weekend, I sold to two guys opening a game store that ran a game store out in the Dakotas somewhere. And yeah, that was a whirlwind. But yeah, besides being to Milwaukee for that over a couple weekends, I've seen basically none of Wisconsin and very little of Michigan in the same way. And obviously, they're both huge, and there's plenty more to see. But it's good stuff, man. I miss just kind of going on those types of exploring trips. So much of our travel is always, regimented with a schedule, and we got to see this, and this, or it won't have been worth it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I had the same thought last weekend. I believe it was last weekend. It was either last weekend or the weekend before that we took our trip to Western New Hampshire to do the camping trip, and it was just so nice to. I knew where we were ending up, but
Yeah,
just the journey was kind of just up to us, and
yeah.
I
You
did a
didn't have
lot of. No, go ahead.
stacked dance cards, so to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I did a lot of that in my, and maybe you did too, back in my early mid 20s. It was more like you get in the car and you just take off and you hit some back roads, or you get on a highway and take an exit you haven't taken before and just figure out, what are we gonna do today? And just that freedom is
yeah.
pretty awesome, and to be able to,
Well,
capture that again.
yeah, for sure. You stumbled on stuff more often back then too, because you know when there was GPS, it sure as hell didn't always work, and a lot of the times it was printing out MapQuest directions on how to get to the concert in a unfamiliar city, kind of thing, and then after getting completely and horribly lost, oh, we found this awesome sandwich place, though. That I miss
That you will
stuff like
never
that.
find again.
Yeah, and, now I'm more like, well, let's check the Triple D roadmap for if there's anywhere we must stop, kind of thing, which is great that we have that, but falling ass backwards into some random place, or just taking like the locals' recommendations on where to check out, kind of thing. Seems to always work out pretty well. I certainly had no complaints. We had some really cool spots.
So, what was the best thing that you had on your trip?
The best thing?
Yeah, food wise, obviously.
Yeah, it might be tough to say. I mean, I didn't have anything really that wasn't really pretty good, but
What would
all
you
right. So
make a
we,
trip out for again? Like, if you specifically had to make a trip, was there
uh,
something that you were like,
tough to
I would
say.
make a drive out for that?
Well, I can get cheese curds here on most menus, so I've got that need covered. But oof, that's hard. All right, so there was this place called the Old Hamlin, and it was like this old school, tiny little counter diner place from the 40s, and I
Hmm.
don't imagine that much has changed since the early 40s. Be it the uniforms, the decor, anything. I mean, I think I sent you a picture of the counter, and
Yeah,
Formica countertops and installed stools and all that kind of great stuff. Low lighting, a lot of wood paneling. And the menu was very much of that era still, and they had on special for Saturday night was calves liver and onions, which I imagine most people either love or hate, and there's not a whole lot in between of take it or leave it, folks, when it comes to liver and onions. But I haven't had it in probably 10 years, and it was amazing. And it was served with, batch made mashed potatoes and a thick brown gravy. And my wife got a hot faced open turkey sandwich with the delicious white turkey gravy that you know so well. But it was, it was all like it was the turkey was from at the bare minimum, a turkey breast that they roasted themselves and cut, kind of thing, or let alone a whole turkey. And like the bread they baked in house and things like that. But there were other parts of it that just hit me right in the nostalgia heart because I'm a sentimental romantic fool. Uh, my dinner came with access to their salad bar, which was like a trolley on wheels and was a direct nod to the past and the salad bars of my youth. So if I look at the picture, I'm just going to pull it up on out of my head here, but it was like, one type of lettuce and then like shredded cheese, canned three bean salad, cottage cheese. Oh God, what was else was on there? Like, I don't know, man. If you could picture, what a supermarket salad bar looked like in 1989, it was exactly that from my childhood, and I was making the exact same thing that I would make as a kid. And my wife was tickled pink because I was just like sitting there with a giggly, shit-eating grin across my face as I stared down at this awesome creation I just made that really didn't resemble anything close to a salad other than having lettuce at the bottom of it. But yeah,
the Midwest
that I
salad
would
right
go
there.
back for. Yeah, I mean, it was that type of place is it's the whole package kind of thing. It's not just the food necessarily. It's the the older lady waitress that's been there forever kind of thing. It's the entire ambience of the place. I loved it. I would definitely go back there. But we ate a lot of cool stuff. I think I sent you that mac and cheese pizza that we got too that went along
Yes.
with the
Yep.
bake. Yeah, so that was the other half of the cheeseburger pizza that was missing the lettuce and mayo. There was a place called Parker John's Barbecue and Pizza in Sheboygan, which we were going to go there, but my wife's battery died in her car.
Oof.
So that turned it into a delivery situation, uh, which was fine because the hotel we were staying at was actually really cool. And so we got the fried onion rings with ranch, of course. Really good homemade ranch, I must say. So I can't fault those Wisconsin folk for their love of it too much. Fried pickles that I'm sure you would have loved with a cayenne ranch that was just
That sounds
absolutely.
delicious.
It was so hot, like really hot, like actually hot. I was not expecting it at all. And cayenne is like that punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of heat. I was not expecting it and just took a big old swig with a pickle or swipe, I should say. And yeah, lit myself on fire. But the mac and cheese pizza was like a thick Detroit style crust, and then an entire layer of mac and cheese, and I think it was red onion, roasted red peppers in there too,
Hmm.
and unbelievably indulgent, and didn't necessarily feel great afterwards, but damn, it was good. We had 3 slices left over yesterday, and I ate all of them.
Hopefully, I'm sure no one else was expecting to have another slice of that.
Well, I think they may have wanted one. We came home with a bunch of leftovers. It's fine.
You got the root beer sausage. They can enjoy that.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that diner that you'd went to because when you sent me those pictures, it reminded me exactly of the diner from my childhood, which I think actually. How many times can I say actually in this sentence? I think they closed about 4 or 5 years ago permanently, which was pretty depressing, but it was the same type of setup. It had, I don't know if this one did, but it was called the Soda Shop. And it was
Love
actually been
it.
around since my dad was a kid. He grew up there. I can't remember if it was still called the Soda Shop back then, but it was the same diner feel. He used to go there as a kid. You know, he brought me there as a kid, and it was just kind of cool to see. You know, the same people.
The malt shop soda jerk kind of.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was awesome. We used to go there. I'd used to get burgers, and you'd get a milkshake, and they'd have the old school milkshake mixers that are right
Yeah.
there on the counters. And like you had said, you had the grumpy old waitress that's probably been working there for 45 years, who you love her personality because that's just part of the
It's
show.
endearing. Yeah, exactly.
I think we were talking earlier, and you'd mentioned something like, or it might have been you that had said, they decide, I want a milkshake. I don't want to make a milkshake. You're not getting one today.
Oh, yeah, that's a tale of my diner youth. It's like, can I have a chocolate milkshake? And rest in peace, Polly from the Towson Diner. She'd be like, "Oh, you fucking pain in the ass. No, I'm not doing that tonight." Like, okay. Yeah, so
Maybe next
as
time.
kids, we were in there, 2, 3 times a week. So yeah, it was. That's just fun. That's personality. That's a relationship with a restaurant. I love that stuff.
That's I don't have. There's a couple diners around here, but not the same level of the soda shop, and I feel like that's something that, at least around me, I don't know about you, but I don't see a ton of those old school diners around anymore.
Definitely not on the West Coast when I was living in San Diego. Plenty of good ones still left in the Baltimore area, to my knowledge, that I loved very dearly. Here, it's kind of an in-between situation where they don't really have, what you would call an East Coast diner, but they have a lot of, pancake houses and that sort of
Yep.
thing, that do, all day breakfast, but also have another full menu kind of thing. And they usually see similar options. It's not as vast as a diner, and they're usually more focused kind of in one area, but I can scratch the itch when I need to.
Yeah, that my other favorite diner of my youth in college. I went to Keene State College, which is in western New Hampshire. There was a small diner there called Timoleon's, and it wasn't great food. It was
Didn't
serviceable
need to be.
food, but
Yeah.
no, the experience that you're at a diner for a show, for the experience, for the workers. The food, at least in my opinion, the food is secondary when you go to a diner. My buddy Greg and I would go there once or twice a week. Both of us super poor college students,
Oh
really
yeah.
shouldn't have been going out to eat at all. But I always used to get a Reuben with curly fries and a chocolate milk. And he would always get an egg salad sandwich. And
Nice.
like by the time, I don't know, we went there for 3 years. By the time senior year rolled around, we were regulars at that point, and it was
Yeah.
basically us and the elderly community of Keene. Like, I don't think I saw another college student that ever went to this diner, and I think that was part of the appeal, was that it was just like, it was the towny diner, and it
Even
was,
better. Yeah.
yes, there was a guy that worked there forever. I hope he's still alive, but I highly doubt it. We used to call him Old Mike, because we had a friend that was named Mike. Obviously, he was in college with us, and then there was old Mike, who we thought that Mike would grow up to be. He was about 6'1", 6'2", gangly. Had to have been, I don't know, 75, 80 years old. This was, oh God, almost 20 years ago. And he always wore the nicest, cleanest pairs of Air Jordans. It was awesome every time
All
we'd go
right.
in. And it wasn't just the same pair of Air Jordans either. The man had a collection, and he took great care of them. And that guy was awesome. I could talk about old Mike for hours on end. He was our diner character, in Keene. He was the main character.
This was a customer,
No. This was a
an employee.
yeah. He wasn't a server. He was more of a busboy host.
Okay, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just thinking. I know some sneakerheads. I'm not one myself, but don't know that I would subject my Jordans to the restaurant industry.
that is what was very
It's
surprising.
vexing.
Yeah, but like I said, they were always spotless. I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't know if after a shift he went home and cleaned them or
Oh
what, but
yeah, he was making sure he came correct for the people that recognized those Jordans and what he was sporting. Yeah, absolutely.
because I know both of us have worked in the food service industry,
Yeah.
and yeah, you don't wear the clothes or the shoes that you want to have in other aspects of your life.
No, if you even came close to smelling what my shoes probably smelled like after a bar shift with God knows what spilled all over them throughout the course of an evening, plus me standing and sweating in them kind of thing. Yeah, I didn't wear those outside of work ever. But a lot of people, I'm just thinking like, clogs in the kitchen and stuff like that. I can't recall ever seeing anyone wearing a pair of fresh Air Jordans, but more power to
Yeah,
them, especially at 80. I hope I'm that cool.
right. Like I hope someday that I can be as cool as old Mike.
Yeah, now you're just making me like miss old school like East Coast diners. That's
Well,
okay.
hey, you got a guy that lives over on the East Coast that's more than happy to take you on a diner trip.
True. Oh man, I guess I should go see any one of those people that I know. Oh, you mean you? Got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, you don't have to come visit me. That's I was thinking, some of our other East Coast friends. I figured, I'd be way down the bottom of that list.
Talking about your diners and
Drive-ins and dives.
and your Big Mac pizza. I actually tried. There was a local version. I think this is in Ludington, Michigan, but the trip kind of blending together now. This place called Tom's Drive-In that was recommended to us as like a local burger fast food type place, but just a one-off. Or maybe there was another local, I don't know. But they had a Big Tom, which was their version of a Big Mac, and then they, had like their own version of the quarter pounder and double quarter pounder and all that kind of stuff. Kind of like a McDonald's coming to
Yep.
America type situation. But what they did with the Big Mac, I thought you would appreciate, was instead of two all beef patties and stacking taller, we
Oh,
went with
come on, hit me with it.
a larger, wider single patty and a
Oh,
larger
that is
bun.
music to my ears. Oh yeah,
So
that's what we love to hear.
instead of a taller Big Mac, they made a wider Big Mac, and I'm like, oh, this is burger engineering that Wyatt would just be ecstatic over.
I don't know if we can say that this is the official stance of the We Don't Have It Yet team, but I know personally I am team make burgers wider, not taller.
Oh, we've had this discussion. Yeah, burgers should. Why should they be more difficult to eat? I should get my perfect bite throughout, you know, without having to unhinge my jaw. And if you're getting to the point where a like serrated steak knife has to be inserted into the damn thing just to keep it upright, you're making a crappy burger.
I
I'm not
hate
here
that.
for that. Yeah, nuts to that. Now, is there a place for like a thick pub burger or like
Sure.
a backyard softball burger? Absolutely. But don't build up, build out.
And this has been a public service announcement from We Don't Have It Yet.
Yes. If you're gonna open one of these places with exposed brick walls and a damn steak knife going through the center of the burger, no. You are not going to be on the we don't have it yet burger must try list. Build wider, we'll come and find you. We'll talk you up. Maybe we'll make you famous. We don't know. We could turn this into a nationwide trend if we catch on here, Wyatt.
I mean, we've already caught on. We are reaching out to at least 3 people here.
All right. we can't say there are dozens of us. We can't even make that joke yet. Come on.
There are several of us out there.
Several.
Going with your kind of trip theme, and since it's something that we've basically talked about every week, I'm kind of curious because I've got a little bit myself. But did you play any pinball or anything while you were traveling?
Yeah, totally did. So this is going to really shock you. At another place on the trip, I stopped for pizza. And so this was in St. Joseph, Michigan. There was a Detroit-style spot. It was called Nardo's, which I thought was great.
I like that name.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't really mean anything. Maybe it is referencing something that I'm not aware of. I just thought it was a great name. And
Leonardo's?
Possibly. Well, it was like the logo was like an 8-bit pizza chef holding a pizza peel, which I thought was great.
That picture. That was really cool.
That was great. And so it was an underground pizza spot, and they had pinball and a bunch of older arcade titles, all set up for quarters. I got the impression it was more of a later night type spot because they were just basically doing carry out orders when I was in there. But they had, a DJ booth and stuff toward the back and an open area. So I think it might have been more of a drinking spot. Damn good pizza. And so while I was waiting for a pickup order, I indulged myself in some of their pinball offerings. They had World Cup. What am I seeing here? Pinbot, which is always fun. Funhouse, always great. Those are 3 heavy hitters right there. But they had Sega Data East from the 90s, X-Files, which I
have not played that.
I may have come across it at the time, and I have some vague memories of it, but I don't know that I ever really played it. And man, I got glued to that thing for like a solid 40 minutes, and it is a lot of fun. I know people don't like the Sega 90s stuff as much as I do, but I don't know. I think I've used this term with you before. How I rate pinball machines is if I get along with them.
Yeah.
I definitely got along with X-Files. It just shot well, and I just was having fun, man. So I can't really ask for that, any more than that. But all right, GoldenEye, I love that. Starship Troopers, I love that one. I'm trying to think of even the old Data East Jurassic Park. I don't mind as much as some people do. The original South Park machine is fun to me. I like those games, man. What about you? Have you played?
I haven't played any of those games you listed. The only Sega game I have played is Frankenstein, which we
Mary
have over
Shelley.
at the
Yeah, that's a
club.
great one.
Yeah. I've only had a chance to play that maybe half a dozen times or so, but I really enjoy the layout of that table.
I don't know that I have played it real life or not, or if I'm just thinking about it because it's in
VFX.
No, it's in Pinball Arcade, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, so I would play that. That was like the demo table, I think, even for Pinball Arcade. So I had played quite a bit of that at some point, be it on Xbox or something like that. But yeah, man, I want more X-Files, and it still sells for like $2,500, so I can't just go out and get one. But I don't think you can go out and get any machine for cheap anymore. But
yeah, I think we were just having this conversation before we started recording because, as we know, as we've heard many times, my favorite pinball machine is Shack Attack. I believe that's a Gottlieb table from 95, I think, 94, 95.
Yeah, right in the mid of the 90s, yeah.
And I happened to just look today, not that I have any money to buy it or place to store it, but I was just curious to see what they're going for right now. And I was actually surprised to see there's one for sale on Pinside for $1,800, which is about $1,000 lower than I was seeing it a year ago, which is cool, but it's also about...
You say it was like 800?
It was about $1,000 cheaper 5-6 years ago, so I really missed that I missed that lull, I think, in pinball to get into the hobby.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were sitting around then, would you have been like, do I really want to spend 800
Right,
bucks?
exactly.
Like, so, hindsight's 2020, brother. You didn't know that the market was going to explode because COVID was going to happen. I mean, nobody did, and we didn't know that
Yeah,
it was going to become crazy popular again or any of that stuff.
now that you mention it, that makes a lot of sense. I was like, yeah, 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm like, oh yeah,
What
that's what
major
happened.
event occurred in the world at that point?
Why would all of hobbies become more expensive 5 years ago? I have no idea. Oh yeah, we were all stuck inside with nothing to do.
Difficult to say. Yeah.
But
No,
yeah, I was kind of bummed to see how much that was, but I told our mutual friend Joe from Rad Junk, who also runs Really Rad Weekend, that I'd be more than happy to come to the convention again this year as long as he could guarantee me that Shack Attack would be there, and he told me he's going to make it happen. So I
I
think
don't. I
I'm
don't
gonna.
think you could get away with not having Shack Attack as much
I
as
mean, it's
you.
the best pinball game ever made, so why would you not have it?
I'd like to point out to everyone that this has been Wyatt's assessment since the very moment that he first played Shack Attack and, like, quote, got into pinball until this moment where he's a member of a pinball club, playing in tournaments, every single part of the hobby, and you still think Shack Attack number one. And I don't have an argument against you. I really don't. So I mean, it's fun. It's great.
It's the one game that I do want to play at some point that I haven't found anywhere, and maybe you have played it, is NBA Fast Break. I've heard that's a really
No,
unique
everybody talks
story.
about how awesome it
Yeah,
is.
I know that there's a lot of, at least I'm guessing someone in the New England Pinball League area must have it because there is a specific rule for NBA Fast Break in the bylaws for the rules for New England Pinball League. So I think I'm gonna probably have to figure out who has it and go try it out because
Yeah, they definitely have.
I
They have it like a Pin Expo every year, but I'm not inclined to wait in line for any specific title most of the times. I just kind of meander about and get on whatever's open kind of thing, but I should make a point to play it. And sorry I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. I mean, I think at least this year you're absolutely going to have to because that's content, baby. We need
Oh yeah,
to
well, like I
know.
said, I live in this world now. What am I saying?
We need to hear your experience of standing in line with all the other pinballers waiting for NBA Fast Break.
Well, I say that. I guess most of the time I'm just kind of hanging out in the tournament room and will be. So I'll just try and sneak away and like get on it during setup or something like that. But yeah, if anybody wants to come out to Pin Expo in October in Chicago, it is a fantastic time if you are into pinball. Friends Joe and Sam have come out before from the aforementioned Rad Junk, and yeah, it's neat. It's like an industry event. I'm trying to get Wyatt out there, but it's a bit of a hard sell for a what is not a cheap plane ticket anymore.
No, that's the other issue is,
Yeah,
flights have
they
flights have gone
suck.
way up.
Yeah,
So,
well, just becoming an aggressively shittier experience too. So it's awesome, especially
I
when you're
don't
six
know
foot
why.
fucking yeah 6'5". It's really fun. Let me tell you.
I can relate to that so bad. It really sucks being tall. Um,
They used to just see us coming when you checked in at a desk. They would see us coming and be like, "That's a man who should be sitting in the emergency exit row right there. Let me help him out." Not anymore, man. Got to pay your way.
it,
Shitification, Wyatt.
it would probably piss you off so much to know that on the flight back from Really Rad Weekend when we parted ways in Florida that
What,
I
after
was
being delayed at the airport for what,
oh
six
my god, I
hours or
actually
eight
forgot about
hours or
that.
whatever it was? Yeah, we were there for the most of the day. Don't
Uh,
forget.
Yeah, no, I guess I tried to memory hole that one that both of us, I believe my flight was or no, I was put on standby on my
Yep.
flight because of course they oversold the plane and I
Yep.
didn't know if I was going to make it home, which was awesome. And I think your flight was delayed?
It was like delayed for weather, and then you finally got out of there, and I got on the plane. I'm like, all
Oh, you had a
right,
long trip. I remember that.
bullshit
Yeah.
behind us. I'm on the plane. He's going home safe. We did it. Whatever. and then they announced a mechanical issue, and we had to deplane. And then an hour after that, that plane wasn't going to work, and now we had to wait for a new plane. Yeah, that day sucked, and I think I came home, never flying again. This bullshit. So here we are on the eve of going back, and yeah, I'll be flying again. So it is what it is. Let's just hope for better luck.
Was it John or Audrey? One of them got really screwed with their flight, I think, back to Texas. I think the flights got complete. I think it was Audrey had to go back to Texas, and the flight
everybody was getting hosed because they were having like horrific weather. There was an act of God somewhere. I can't just entirely blame the shittiness of the airlines, but yeah, I think everybody had a nightmare getting out of that one.
So yeah,
or getting to in some cases too.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that was the trip from hell. I don't not that I think, listeners really care, but last
how
year
you got there. Yeah. No, that's funny to me.
So last year I had no real plans of going to Really Rad Weekend. I always like to, all of our, mutual online, now real life friends have met up down there. I don't know if last year was the first time or if it's been a couple of years. But my schedule just never lined up. I usually run a race in the beginning of November, which is the same weekend as Really Rad Weekend. And it's been tradition for me to do this race, and I've just, always done it. I also couldn't really justify the plane tickets and hotel costs to go down there. But for whatever reason, last year things lined up. I had a little bit of extra money. The race that I was running was actually the weekend after for some reason, so this was on a different weekend. The only issue was that I had previously made plans to go see Mandy Patinkin talk in Concord. Yes.
I should side note this anecdote and point out that Wyatt always has tickets to something coming up. I am so jealous of this man and his ability to still go see all these great concerts that come through his way, all these comedians, all these performers. It's like, oh yeah, I saw so-and-so last night. You are a patron of the arts, and I salute you, sir. I have a child, and my life is over.
I wouldn't say I see that much. I mean, I'm only going to see Christopher Titus, Kevin James, the B-52s, Devo, and Professor over the next couple months. So I don't go to that much. But so yeah, we had plans that I think I bought these tickets like 6 or 7 months ago, so it was going to happen. I was going.
Yeah.
So it was just, okay. Nick was like, "You should come down. We'll room together and we'll have fun." And I decided to say, "Yeah, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it." Went and looked at plane tickets. Got my plane tickets. I couldn't obviously fly out Friday night because the show started at 8:00, and that wasn't going to happen. So I found the first flight out of Manchester, which I believe left at 5 a.m. So I showed up to Manchester Airport at the right time. I can't remember what the time was, but I
forgot about this whole part.
Yes. Yeah. The whole thing. So I show up while check-in's still supposed to be happening, and I go to check in at the self-serve check-in, and it wouldn't scan my ticket. It wouldn't check me in. It kept saying, like, you need to see an attendant. I'm like, oh, you got it. Like, come on. Like, I
got a desk agent.
Yeah. So I go talk to the desk agent, and super nice, super helpful lady. That's super sarcastic. She was probably one of the least helpful people I have ever met. She essentially told me, nope, you're too late, and there's no more flights that are heading down to where you're going today, so you should just go home and try again tomorrow. And I was like, there is no way in hell that is happening. The plane is not supposed to leave for another hour. I'm already here. So she basically told me, like, well, you can try to go through security and try to get to the gate, and maybe they'll let you on, but I'm telling you right now, they're not gonna, you're wasting your time. I didn't have a choice at this point. It was either,
we're going to roll the dice if it's come this far at 4:45 in the morning or whatever, yeah.
So mind you, I got back from the Mandy Patinkin show probably around 10:30 or so, fell asleep maybe 11:30, woke up at like 2 a.m. So really not even enough that it made any difference. I might as well have been awake the entire time. I get to the I fly through security because Manchester Airport in New Hampshire, there's like 5 people that fly out of there. There's no wait
I
at
was gonna
any.
say it can't be that much
It's a
of a
tiny
hub.
airport. No, it's
Yeah.
a tiny airport. And so I fly through there. I get right up to the front desk, or sorry, the gate, and I'm talking to the gate attendant there. And I was like, "Listen, this is what's going on. I was told that they're done boarding. I'm not going to be able to make it on. Like, there are no more flights that are going to Florida from Manchester today, or going to wherever you picked, Fort Walton. There are no more flights that are going to Fort Walton Beach. Like, I really need to make this flight. I am only supposed to be there for 2 days." And the guy just looks at me and he goes, "Oh, like, let me look at this." And he, types it into his little thing. He goes, "Oh, we'll get you on the flight. Like, yeah, there's no more flights out today. Like, we'll get you on there." And the plane was half empty. I got on there. We still waited about 40 minutes before I flew out. The biggest problem was it was flying into, I think, Reagan in DC, and my layover was, I think I had 10 minutes between flights from when I was
10
supposed
minutes,
to.
if I recall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I was, again, I'm texting you and John and Ian and Joe. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, there's no way in hell. And I talked to a few people that have flown through Reagan, and they're like, it's plenty of time. It's plenty of time. I'm like, how is that plenty of time? I have 10 minutes. I'm looking at the terminals, and I have to run. And somehow our flight landed early in DC, which was great for me.
Yep.
And then the flight ended up leaving late from DC, which worked out. So I got to my flight, I am toast. I get on the flight, make it down to Fort Walton Beach. I text this tall hunk of man who we hadn't met yet. This is the first time that
we've never met in person. Yeah.
So I text this random dude to tell him I'm at the airport to come pick me up, and the rest is history. I made sure. Yeah, I made sure he wasn't going to murder me. And as far as I know, unless you're really playing the long game here, you haven't done it yet.
Wait till this year, dude.
Yeah. Let's start a podcast first, and then that's going to make more content when I kill you.
It's going to be great for the listeners that we build up. We'll be at dozens by that point. It'll be totally worth it for the content, baby. Wait, so how much sleep are you running on between getting home from seeing Inigo Montoya and getting on a plane?
So I was up at, I believe, 5 a.m. Friday, fell asleep around 11:30 p.m. Friday night, got up at 2 a.m. Saturday, did the whole flight thing, met up with you, then met up with, the thousands of our friends that were at the convention. Then I believe we went and grabbed lunch and then hung out with everyone again. And I think we crashed early that night compared to everyone else, at least maybe like 11 or so. So, I mean, I was working off of about, aside from a 2-hour power nap, I was going on 24 plus hours and
running on fumes.
Yeah. And then everything was screwed up. So I don't know if this will be news to a lot of listeners, but it certainly was to me that not all of Florida is in the Eastern time zone, which
still screws with me.
Part of the panhandle is in Central.
Yeah, I'm in Chicago and in the same time zone as Western Florida is still odd to me.
The funniest fun fact that I looked up after that, I believe, and someone can fact check me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's part of Oregon and part of Florida are only one time zone apart, because there's part of Oregon that is in mountain time and then part of Florida is in central time. And it is wild to me to think that a West Coast state and an East Coast state are only 1 hour apart when it comes to time, which leads me to believe that time isn't real. Like,
time's not real. Time is wackadoo. I don't understand any of it. So yeah, just driving from here to the West Coast of Michigan.
You must have gone back.
Yeah, you fall back. But so I would have to assume still well west of Western Florida.
Yes.
But they were in Chicago. Yeah, time isn't real.
Yeah, so
nonsense construct.
I was all screwed up. So not only did we go back an hour going into Central Time, but this was also the weekend that we fell back with the
Oh
clocks.
shit, that's right. That was
Yes,
Saturday. Saturday night was daylight
yes.
savings. Oh god.
Yes, this was it was probably one of the most fun trips of my life, but also one of the worst trips of my life. So we had gone to bed somewhat early, and I had my watch, which should update itself, between time zones
Yeah.
and between, time or whatever. And I wake up at, I believe what I thought was 6:30. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to go for a nice morning run, because I'm going to eat way too much food this weekend. So I at least want to, feel somewhat good about myself and get a little bit of exercise. Uh, so I go out, I go for my run. There's nobody on the beach. The sun hasn't really come up at all yet. There's no one on the beach. There's no one around the resort. I'm like,
Yeah, it
okay,
was
yeah,
just that first light kind of
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I was like, okay, it's Sunday morning. Everyone was probably, having a real good time at the convention last
Yeah.
night, and they're gonna wake up later. So I go and do my little run, and I come back, and I can't remember what had happened. I think I went to stretch after I had run, and I looked down at my watch, and it had gone back to like 5 a.m. And I was like, oh my god, I got up at 4:30 in the morning. So like I only slept 4 or 5 hours Saturday night. So it
After
was,
the 24-hour,
yes.
run. Yeah.
So, the good part is I got plenty of Shack Attack in that morning. So I believe we grabbed breakfast with you and Merck's, and I think Aaron might have been there too.
That's when we got restaurant breakfast, and then Joe handed you the mega breakfast switch from
I th-
Whataburger.
yes, that's what it
Yeah.
was. And I disappeared. I think you guys were eating, and then I disappeared to the pinball room to go play Shack Attack, and I think you guys either were wandering around or something,
I
but
don't remember.
it was a trip. We kind of went off on a fun little tangent there of the
Yeah,
first
that's what
really
I'm
rad
saying.
weekend experience. But that should, I would imagine, sell everybody on wanting to go to
Oh,
a really
which
rad weekend.
because you'll have a shitty time trying to get there from whatever your local airport might be, and don't buy tickets for a speaking tour from the dude whose father got killed in The Princess Bride the night before. Well,
I'll
we
say
have a
this,
plan this year, though. None of that'll happen because we'll get there a day early to compete in competitive bowling.
and we all know that that is my strong suit.
This has
But
been a recently discussed agreement that we should all get there early and bowl. I don't know if there was any real impetus behind it other than bowling is fun.
I think that was the main driver behind.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Or that we all used to be somewhat decent in our 20s, and now that we're old and have falling apart bodies and joints that don't work, we can barely crack 120. It probably had something to do with that, I imagine.
Except for Wyatt, who has never really bowled at all in his life because he grew up in New England where we do candlepin bowling, and that does not translate to 10 pin.
Wait, is that actually more the standard?
Up in New England, at least New
It is.
Hampshire, Massachusetts,
Really?
yes. Candlepin bowling
Interesting.
is the prevalent bowling type up here. There's a little bit
Okay,
of duck
so
pin,
yeah,
but
so
it's
I'm a
mostly
Baltimore
candlepin.
child
Yes.
of Baltimore and grew up with duckpin, and any bowling alley that you go to, I'm not sure if it's still the case these days, but went to in Baltimore, the first say 10 lanes were always usually reserved as duckpin
Yep.
kind of thing. And when you were a kid, you had duckpin bowling parties and stuff, and there were definitely adult leagues and people that are super into duckpin, but it was still mostly 10 pin. So I'm surprised that that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
And that looks hard as hell. And duckpin's
It,
hard, but candlestick looks really hard.
it's not easy. I was fairly good at it in high school and college, and then there's about a 15-16 year gap where I did zero candlepin bowling,
Yeah.
and I went with about 15-20 guys a couple months ago, and holy shit, I am bad now. It's
That's,
just it's hard.
yeah, I think I'm pretty convinced I'm going to, go back and step up there and think I'm, a young man again and be able to just stroke it like I would. And I'm more likely, I think, to tear my rotator cuff or something these days if I'm not careful. But we'll get
It'll
there.
be
I'm going
it'll
to
be fun.
practice this week. I'm going to practice this week. And yeah, like I told, like if you guys light a fire under my ass with an element of competition, then I'm much more likely to actually do something. So, yeah, we're going to get good again. And I have faith. You can train. You could get there.
I do have, as I've just recently said, a lot of free time, so I probably can get very good at it.
I think you slow roll everybody. You're like, oh, I've never played pinball before. Oh, let me check out this Shack Attack machine. Oh, wow, I'm naturally incredibly good at this thing.
It's
So
hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, I've played games with you and you're like, oh, I suck. Oh my god, I'm bad. And I'm just like, am I the only one noticing how good Wyatt is? You're just a harsh critic, sir.
Well, I mean, I can't say that we're, too dissimilar in that respect.
Oh yeah, I suck at most things. No.
Which actually, funny enough, that's part of the reason why the title of our podcast is We Don't Have It Yet, is
That's how
because
we got there.
we have no confidence in ourselves. Mostly it's Tim Robinson, but a little bit because, maybe a little bit of self-deprecating humor.
I'd like to think that that's the source of any good sense of humor. If you can't hate on yourself, you're probably going to just be mean, right?
That's the way I look at it. I would rather be mean to myself than mean to somebody else.
I suck. Yeah.
You're great. I suck. Leave me alone. So, Nick, I gotta ask you, I know this has been a question every week, and it's going to be a question every week, and, we might have to come up with our own theme music for this segment.
I don't know what's coming, so this is interesting.
You don't know what's coming. Oh, this is fun. I figured you would know.
I can speculate, I guess.
Have you played everyone's favorite poker roguelike game lately?
Balatro. Yeah, I was playing earlier. I mean, you could pretty much ask me most nights, have you been playing Balatro recently? And it's going to be like, yeah, I was playing a little while ago. It's my, post-dinner, plop on the couch for a half an hour kind of thing, wind down kind of game. It's my comfort food that I'm reaching for, man. So despite, I think I pretty much covered it before, but having God knows how many open different games on various consoles and things, yeah, it's still what I go for. For those who might not be familiar before we dive too far into this, like you said, it is a loose interpretation of poker, I suppose.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with the basic hand rankings of poker, high card, pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, blah, 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 so on and so forth, flush, straight, all that. But you get basically different jokers and different cards that change all of that up and add multipliers and different effects. And it is a deck builder. Now, you have to help me, Wyatt, because I always get this crisscrossed. It's a crosswire in my brain. It's a roguelike or a roguelite?
Oh god, I'm the wrong person to ask. Ian is usually, I believe it's a roguelite because it is not. I'm gonna guess it's roguelite. Because I believe a roguelike is a game that is like the game Rogue, and I don't feel like that describes.
Okay, bad news. Wikipedia says you're wrong.
Well, that's why, I don't have it yet.
Balatro is a poker-themed roguelike deck building game. And here we go. A roguelike deck building game is a hybrid genre of video games that combines the nature of deck building card games with a procedurally generated randomness from roguelike games.
Play the spire.
So there you go. So I'm not. I guess a roguelite would just be a less involved version of that. I can never.
I'm gonna say we can just.
These genres only came about a few years ago. Damn it!
I just know platformers and action games.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe you did complete everything to be completed. I still have half the challenges that I haven't even attempted because I just figure they're going to be hard. Like the last. I say half, but maybe like the last 5 or 6 I have barely even touched. There are definitely still stakes that I haven't beaten on decks and things like that. I rarely get up into the crazy, multipliers. Like I know some of the crazy single hands I've seen you play outside of like end game or endless mode where you just keep going after you win the run.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I'm probably not. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find it. But yeah, I remember I sent you
You
one
got
of
like
the
100
scores
million
that
to
I
the
got.
nth power or
Yes, it
something. Yeah, it's
was.
ridiculous. Yeah.
It's a very addictive game, and it's kind of funny. The reason why I asked you if you've played it is because I started playing it again on Xbox recently. I mostly played on Steam Deck. I played a little bit on
All right,
PlayStation,
it's on Game Pass right now too, isn't it? Yeah.
which is, yeah, I saw it on there, and I'm like, ah, crap. I'm gonna play this again. So I actually believe this evening I finished up maybe a blue deck, second stake or something. I'm trying to get to my favorite deck, which I think I need to win like the third or fourth stake. It's the deck that opens up where it only gives you like all hearts and all spades. It gives you 2 suits instead of 4 suits.
Yeah, and then you always have to do the stupid boss where it's like all spades are,
Yeah.
now out kind of thing or disabled. All right, so
That's
going back to a related topic that I know is a source of contention for a lot of people, and we've mentioned it before, how to pronounce Balatro. I say Balatro. It's been in the advertising, I think I've heard it as Balatro. Polygon apparently asked the developer directly and is quoted as saying it can be pronounced as Balatrao, Balatrao, or
Drow. Wow.
let me see, or Balatro. And the developer is open to any pronunciation as long as it is said with confidence.
I, you know what? I think I'm gonna adopt that policy with my life. Is as long as something is done with confidence, screw it.
Okay, so I just sent you the phonetic pronunciations. You tell me how you would read those.
Let's see
Oh,
here.
sorry, it's in the text channel that you're not in.
I can get there very quick. There we go. Balatro, Balatro, Balatro,
Balatrao and Balatro. Balatro?
Balatro,
Balatro?
Ba. This is really good content right now.
Yeah, I know. There's a bunch of people
10
listening to
minutes
this.
of us trying to pronounce this.
Yeah. All right. Say it however you damn well please. It doesn't matter.
It's a fun game no matter how you say it.
Yeah. Well, I think, like you just said, the developers got the right attitude. As long as it's said with confidence, pronounce it any
Yeah,
way you damn well please. As long as you pay him and play the game.
I was gonna say, as long as you buy the game, call it
Yeah.
the funny roguelike or roguelite poker game that you
Yeah.
want to
He
call it.
doesn't give a damn. He's a solo developer that's got his game on every imaginable platform everywhere, and it's a huge hit. So I have to imagine he does not give a flying F how anyone pronounces it as long as the checks keep clearing. Yeah, that's awesome. I love like stories like that with solo developers, like games like that, or was it Vampire Survivors was another one I was all over
Yes.
for a long time that was a solo dev game. Support your local indie scene, folks,
Hell yeah.
wherever possible.
So I know we talked about this a little bit. Recording schedule has been a little weird. We're recording this at night as opposed to, middle of the day or afternoon
Yeah.
because I am in the process, and I know you can relate to this with, your past few years of life, is I'm in the process of moving into a new place, and it is hell. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah,
It
they say I think change in relationship or death in the family, changing jobs and moving are like the three most stressful experiences that you can pretty much go through. And yeah, I'd like to say it gets easier the more you do it, but no, it
it
sucks
sucks.
every time. It sucks every time. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been in the same place for. Actually, we'll be moving out, I think, on the 5-year anniversary of us moving in. So we have 5 years worth of us expanding into the space that we're in,
Yep.
and both of us enjoy our hobbies, and we both enjoy collecting our things, and neither of us like to get rid of stuff.
It's
And
unbelievable how much shit you can actually acquire without really realizing it over time.
it's scary. I have been packing for the better part of a week and a half, 2 weeks now, and I don't
You
know
wouldn't
what
know it.
I've done. I
Yeah.
do not know what I have done. I'm looking around my office right now, which I've spent a majority of my time packing, And it looks like I have more stuff in here now than I did when I started packing.
You do, because all of the stuff that you've hidden
Yes.
away in every nook, cranny, crate, crevice, corner, tub, whatever, pushed out of view, out of sight, out of mind. Now you've brought it into your living space.
And the worst part about that is you think that, one would go, I haven't seen this in 5 years. Might as well get rid of it.
Oh, hell
No.
no.
Nope, I
No.
see it and I'm like, oh man, that thing's cool. I
Oh,
really need to hold on to that.
oh yeah. Well, dude, yeah, I'm so right with you. Like, oh my God, my Back to the Future watch that came with the Trilogy DVD set. I've been wondering where that's been for the last 12 years. Oh, I'll never leave you again. I don't know
You're
where it
never
is
going to leave
now,
my
but I
side
did
again.
find it.
Yep.
Yeah. 12
But
minutes later.
I'm making a real conscious effort. I've got my big collection is video games from everything from Atari 2600 up to Nintendo Switch 2.
Mm.
Obviously, my Nintendo Switch 2 collection is very tiny since that has been
I'd
out
hope
for a couple
so at this
months and
point.
there are
Yeah.
there are no real games out.
Don't be that
Uh,
guy that buys the entire launch lineup. It never
I
works
saw
out.
yes, I saw someone that did that. I'm like, really, buddy?
On
There's
what system has that been a good idea ever?
no, no. So I'm trying to make a conscious effort of downsizing. I think maybe 10, 15, 10 years ago, I really started getting back into collecting NES games again because
Mm-hmm.
as people of our generation do, we try to relive our childhood and we want to capture, the feeling of having those NES games sitting
Well,
there. And
all generations do it. It's just,
yes,
our
ours was NES.
our dads might have been model trains or what have you kind of thing. Ours is, that living room experience for the most part, I think.
Yeah, and as I look at my giant shelf of NES games, I don't know how many people need 6 copies of Super Mario Duck Hunt, 7 copies of Tetris, 5 copies of Super Mario Brothers 3. Sometimes you buy lots of games and they include games you already have.
So that's impressive to me because I generally didn't have a lot of doubles because if I did, it just got turned into more games kind of thing.
And that is what the smart man does is they go ahead and they flip the games they have. The man like Wyatt sits here and has I'm Bob Odenkirk in I Think You Should Leave. I've got doubles and triples of all of the best cars.
Well, triples is
I've
safe.
got
Triples is safe. Triples
yeah,
is best.
triples is best. I've got I've got doubles of Excite Bike, but I've got triples of golf, and triples is
Oh,
best.
triples is
So
safe. Yeah, you don't know when you might want to play golf 3 times in a row on different copies, or
this
whatever else
is
you could do with that.
a very quick transition, but along the same lines, starting next month, I'm going to be running a video game night at the Pinball Club. We've recently expanded into a new room, and we're expanding from just pinball into board games and video games. And, so what if we want to have an NES golf tournament? I know that will probably, I might have to have a cover charge at that point because there's going to be dozens of people that want to play NES
I'll
golf.
tell you what you do. You run the whole tournament on emulation, but then you keep all the titles on the side. So if the cops kick the door in and demand to see that you have the license and rights to be holding this NES golf tournament, you can produce copies that say
Genius.
we own this for these 3 systems. Yeah, that's probably your best course of action. You were just a long thinker. You knew that this is where you were going to end up, and that one day you would be
one day
running a
I would
golf
need these
tournament.
copies. Yeah. I would just like to take this moment to quickly say that we don't have it yet, are not lawyers, and anything we say, do, or suggest is not lawyerly advice.
Oh, yeah, that would be bad if you're following my advice on anything. So please don't do that. Yeah. All opinions and what is it expressed here therein, or we are not responsible for your actions or anything that happens after listening to We Don't Have It Yet.
That is up
I
to you.
think,
We're stupid.
yeah. And on that note, I think we're out of time. But I've enjoyed this kind of all over the place back and forth that we've had this week on our off time. I wish you the best of luck in your upcoming move. I think you'll be done with
Oof.
that probably before we talk to each other again. Not done,
Um,
but done the most unfortunate part, which is the physical
yes.
movement of everything.
Our big move, big, our big move is going to be this Saturday, moving all of the big furniture and stuff. So it'll be after that, just
Yeah.
packing boxes and trying to somehow get everything out of this house.
Yeah, and then next time we talk, you'll be looking for what box your mic is in and what box your computer might be in. And yeah,
Well, thankfully, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last stuff packed because, this podcast is my number one priority in life. So I
as it
wouldn't
should
want to
be.
jeopardize, yes, I wouldn't want to jeopardize, the 6 or 2 people that listen to this podcast that are really hoping to, hear from us. And God knows I wouldn't be able to record it on anything else other than this
I'm
beautiful
really
mic
glad
I
to hear
have.
you say that. I'm really glad to hear you say that. That means we're on the same page. Yeah. Work out your stupid little living situation
Yeah,
after we record. All right? Priorities.
I agree.
I need a place to sleep. No.
I can
Podcast.
sleep when we have 10 listeners. You hear
Now
that? I am not sleeping
now,
until we have 10
now you're on
listeners.
the trolley, damn it. All right, now, yeah. I love it. All
All
right.
right, everyone. It was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to us babble with each other. For we don't have it yet. This is Wyatt. That is Nick.
That's
Have a good
me.
one.
Bye.